אנחנו עוברים למרצה השלישית, הפרופסור זהבית גרוס מאוניברסיטת בר-אילן. פרופסור זהבית גרוס היא ראשת התוכנית לתואר השני, את מרשה לי להגיד ראשת? אם האקדמיה התירה, אנחנו אומרים ראשת. כן, הסוציולוגית נמצאת פה, מגדר, ראשת. ראשת התוכנית לתואר השני בניהול ופיתוח במערכות חינוך בלתי פורמליות בבית הספר לחינוך באוניברסיטת בר-אילן. היא מכהנת בתפקיד יושב ראש אונסקו בחינוך לערכי אנוש, סובלנות, דמוקרטיה ושלום, והיא ראשת מרכז סל ון גלדר להוראה וחקר השואה, הפקולטה למדעי החברה, בית הספר לחינוך, אוניברסיטת בר-אילן. היא נשיאת החברה הישראלית לחינוך השוואתי, והיא הוזמנה לאומות המאוחדות להשתתף ולשאת נאום בדיון מיוחד על עתיד החינוך לשואה בכל רחבי העולם. תחומי התמחותה העיקריים הם חינוך לשלום, חינוך בין דתי ודתי וחינוך לשואה. מחקריה מתמקדים בעיקר בתהליכי חברות דתיים, חילוניים, נשיים ואזרחיים בקרב מתבגרים. כיום היא מעורבת בארבעה פרויקטים של מחקר בינלאומיים והיא עמיתת מחקר לשם כבוד באוניברסיטת סידני. פרופסור זהבית גרוס, בבקשה.
Here and thank you very much to the organizers. My presentation is entitled Exploring Identity Patterns of Jewish Women from Azerbaijan Origins in Israel. Okay, thank you. Now, the objective of this article is to examine the identities and experiences of Jewish women whose families migrated from Azerbaijan to Israel and are currently residing there. These women's exposure to the distinctive and intricate cultural, geographical, and social milieu of Azerbaijan significantly influence how they perceive and construct their own female identities in their adopted country, Israel. The interplay between their upbringing within a distinct social cultural context and their subsequent integration into their new environment has led to the emergence of three primary identity archetypes. These archetypes align with the typological framework established by me in a research which I conducted and in a book, in my book that was published in 2013 entitled Gender, Religion and Education in a Chaotic Postmodern World. Now the three identity types are as follows. A, women who adopt a conservative patriarchal identity. Women who engage in an identity characterized by bargaining with patriarchy, as coined by Candioti, and women who actively challenge traditional male patriarchy in line with my theoretical model. Now, research indicated that the encounter between immigrant society and the host society is a traumatic meeting of values loss and identity change. The further apart the receiving society is in its values from the mainstream society, the stronger and more traumatic the resistance will be. In all the studies, it is found that those who pay the high price in immigration situations and crises are women. On the other hand, specifically, women who are characterized by higher levels of flexibility and adaptability are able to adjust to the new situation more quickly than men. They develop survival mechanisms that allow them to navigate complex existence and unsolvable conflicts and integrate better into the host society. Now, the research question was, what types of femininity can be identified among Israeli women originated from Northeast Caucasus? The research method employed was qualitative research. The study was conducted in the field as a grounded theory, as women define themselves and establish their identities in relation to the ethic categories I presented to them. Although I had an initial theory, I gave the women to identify themselves. I didn't impose myself upon them, but I asked them, and they defined themselves, and through this identification we could work. Then, in a later stage, we started discussing the typology, and it was a very, very interesting interaction. Now, research tools included in-depth interviews with community members, collecting documents, images, poetry, prose, and films. Films produced about the Caucasus community and their integration in Israel. Of course, Facebook and Instagram and many other documents that I could reach about this wonderful and beautiful community. Now, the first model was the patriarchal model. Women who uphold traditional gender allocation and reinforce chauvinistic positions in order to preserve the patriarchy and tradition. Their attachment to life is achieved through maintaining and establishing the status of men. They declare a woman needs to be a woman. Their perception is essentially legitimizing women's submission to for the sake of preserving the man's status. If you want to have a man, first and foremost, you need to be a woman. Agree? Agree? Now, holding a Caucasian man, it is not a simple endeavor. You know, I say that when I saw this podium, I said, the Caucasian men are like this podium. Strong, hard, bold, and whatever you want. Really, I mean, I took pictures so that I can remember this when I come back to Israel. Now, the woman empowers him. You see, the woman empowers, and she sees it as her role. They are conformist, submissive, and manage a discourse with a distinctive essentialist nature. Most of them belong to the older generation, grandmothers who lived most of their lives in the Caucasus Mountains. Yet I could see also young women who still maintain this model. I won't talk about what we saw yesterday and the day before. When you saw the singers, you could see a true, wonderful Caucasian women. Beautiful, nice, understand their position, and they understand what is exactly their role. And I am so happy that you know that you really identify with this. So you can see those women who adopt a conservative patriarchal identity. Good submissive women. And you can see even the young generation. Although they are young, you could see the male chauvinist, very strong Caucasian men. Now, the film No Sentiments, the first film, No Sentiments, directed by Artur Abramov, a very talented conductor. His mother tries with all her might to preserve the status of her husband as a man and maintain her husband's patriarchal hold, although he is a drunken man who abuses her. She decides several times to escape, to run away, but she knows that running away from him is running away from herself, from her identity. Although he abuses her, she cannot, she still continues to maintain his status as a man. It's moving to see in the film how before she plans her escape to America, she prepares the food he loves and wraps it with love. You know, and I asked her son, Artur Abramov, why does she do it? How can you explain it? And he said, you know, a Caucasian man won't work in the kitchen. He will not do anything. So my mother knew that if she doesn't prepare the food for my father, he will die, he will starve. Just to see the, okay, we don't have time, so we will skip it because I have this movie to show how she's doing it. You want to show the film? Just for 1 minute, just to see to see the mother, to see how she wraps with love. No. Okay, let's leave it, doesn't matter.
בוא נשתל שבת, שיהיה לנו רק שמחות, אמן ואמן.
ישראל זה לא קווקז, בטח לא בכל מה שקשור.
She prepares for him the food. You know, it's so moving. It's unbelievable. Now, and she's abused and she's hated and he's a drunk man. Nevertheless, she preserves this chauvinistic approach in order to preserve herself and in order to preserve her family. Now, in the film Pesach, like in Caucasus, you can clearly see the construction of masculinity by women. They believe that the established order should remain, and guarding it, jealousy will allow for existential existence. I give my husband honor, and in doing so, I give honor to myself. The concept of honor is a key term in their discourse. They live in the past, in the present, and sanctify it. Can you see just the other one? Number 2.
ישראל זה לא קווקז, שקשור ליחסים בין גברים ונשים. הרי המנטליות יצרו קרע בין אמא לאבא.
I want the second film. Film number 2.
מישהו מהמשפחה יודע שאת רוצה לנסוע לאמריקה?
She's running to America, as I told you, but nevertheless, she feeds her husband. Yes, I want you just to see a Caucasian family. You can see the women,
זה מהאוכלים שבכל הלילות. דומה כמו אנחנו אוכלים חרסת באפיקומן. זה ככה כתוב.
האוכלים זה מסובים, זה טעים.
I love this community. I fall in love with this community. They are so strong women. And they understand their position. Okay, to speak. They understand really the position. And as they said in the film, I give my husband honor, and in doing so, I give honor to myself. This is exactly what we say, doing gender. We are doing gender practically. Now, the second type, bargaining with patriarchy. Women who engage in negotiation with patriarchy in order to improve their status while navigating the intricate relationship between tradition and modernity. They negotiate with the male-dominated world, aiming to maintain equilibrium between tradition and modernity. Within this group, there are two sub-patterns can be observed: the tough negotiators and the gentle negotiator. Now, tough negotiator. These women are intellectual and break through with flexible boundaries. One of the interviewers stated, "I don't like having limits imposed on me. For example, partitions in the synagogue, they are willing to grapple with the new and innovative ideas and engage in arguments for the sake of progress. Progress. We want to see ourselves. Progress is a buzzword in their discourse. Sometimes they acknowledge the boundaries, but often they ignore them to better integrate into modernity. They are speaking about boundaries again and again and again. Now, these women often belong to both strong liberal and strong religious, both strong liberal and strong religious categories. That's why it's very difficult for them to navigate in this world. They engage in courageous dialogue with religion and representing rabbis. I break through, but not in a rude way. I don't follow the congregation's dictates if I have a different path. I have research done and thought about what I'm doing. I have to think about what I'm doing. They possess agency and choice. Agency and choice was really one of the choice was a real word that was recurring word and recurring theme that was coming again and again and again. They choose to go where they don't feel suppressed. They won't sit in the back. They want to sit up front. They won't follow the congregation dictates. Now, there are also gentle negotiators. These women break through with delicate boundaries in order to preserve tradition in different differential contexts. They usually belong to the generation and a half. You know, we are speaking about generation and a half. They belong to the generation and a half or second generation. They constantly reference the congregations in their speech. The verbal attachment to the congregation and the commitment to its values and culture significantly signify their boundaries and serve as a shield against the modernity they adopt. They engage in a dialectic with tradition and modernity, but they have a strong commitment to parents and rabbis. They will never be rude to the rabbi. Whereas the strong negotiator, they will be, I won't say rude, but they will argue with the rabbis. But they will never, ever, they will never talk with a disrespect manner to a rabbi. Now, within those negotiators, we can see I found out three ways how to bargaining with patriarchy. We were talking about bargaining with patriarchs. So the first strategy is concealment. These are individuals who live in a secrecy, hiding their actions from the men in their lives. He remains oblivious to their true activities and the modern pursuits of their daughters. Through this concealment, they negotiate and maintain a peaceful coexistence. Now the disclosure, those women who actually reveal the reality to men and access it to the men, and the equilibrium, those who actually create equilibrium between modernity and tradition. Usually the women had undergone these three stages so that they will be able to come to this stage of equilibrium. And now we come to the third type, the challenging paradigm. The challenging paradigm is distinct and intricate. Challenging women are pioneers. They are the other. They are always the other who deviate from the norm. Each of them embodies a unique individual type. They are characterized by intellectuality, individualism, independence, emancipation. They are always talking about their individuality, about the need for emancipation, and possessing a robust and odious critical approach. For them, limits are merely markers. Everything is open and permissible, and life is meant to test bounds of individual capability. You see, this is really, a picture. Just I want to show you the picture. No, 1 minute. Before it, there is a picture. I just want to show you, it's from the film, The Captive from Kafka. No, not the film. I'm talking about the PowerPoint. The PowerPoint. No, continue. These are the traditional, and now more. No, go forward, move forward. One more. This one, yeah. You see, this woman, this is challenging with patriarchy. Would you like this woman? Would you like to marry this woman? No. This is taken from the film The Captive of Caucasus. The Captive of Caucasus. And these are the real threat to the society. Would you like to be like this? No. You see, that's the type, but I found those women. There are many, many women, the new generation, the second and third generation. They want to be like this. They want to be like this, challenging the patriarchy. Okay, let's say, and now I want to show the film. I want to show you Daniela Pashmayev. She is a boxer. This is the new Caucasian generation, yes.
אנחנו קווקזים ויש לנו את זה בגב, ואתה בא, רוצח אותו,
We are Caucasian, we are strong,
מסכן את הבריאות שלך, את העתיד שלך, את החיים שלך.
And the mother, she's so upset. Her mother is, look at her, look at her, look at her. This is Daniela. Look at Daniela, look at her, and her mother. She's crying, and her grandmother. She's crying. I don't want to see you that way. I want you to be a good girl at home, to cook and bake. I don't want you to be like this. You are a girl, you are not a man. But they want to be equal, equality. I want to be equal to the men.
זה תשכח, זה תשכח. זה יהיה ועוד איך זה יהיה, זה יהיה ועוד איך זה יהיה. הכל בידיים שלה, תהיה אגרסית.
Look at Daniela, look at her.
כאילו לא הסתכל על הגובה שלה, כלום, לא ייכנס לה.
Я бы тебя закрыла в комнате так, а ключ спрятала далеко-далеко, чтобы сама не нашла.
I would close her in the room. I won't let her go out at all. But you see, and her mother, I saw the interview with her. That's Daniela. That's the new challenging generation. This is the new generation. I saw, you know, in the Facebook and also monologues between Daniela and her grandmother, where she said, I want you to be a good girl. I want you to stay at home. I want you to marry. What's going on with you? They said, no, I want to be equal like the men. Do you see? So it's very, very problematic. So challenging women live on the edge, risking their physical and mental well-being. Occasionally, they plunge into the abyss, yet swiftly manage to recover and proceed, continuing to explore, research, and dare. They exhibit an extraordinary curiosity, being in an ongoing process of boundary testing. They often belong to the second or third generation. They view themselves as Western, secular, liberal Israeli women projecting a universal archetypes. They are the travelers who perceive life through the lens of sightseeing buses. I was interviewing them. I asked them, you know, I really have the feeling that you are like moving in sightseeing buses. And they liked this metaphor very much. However, they emphasize their exceptional love for family and tradition and acknowledge the goodness in those around them. All of them said, we love the Caucasian. We love the Caucasus. They miss it. They want the tradition. They want to uphold to the tradition, which is so important to them. Yet, they aspire to engulf the world and unconventional possibilities modernity offers to them. They engage in sightseeing, ascending and descending at various bus stops around the world. They possess an extraordinary spiritual and physical resilience and execute each action with precision. They live in, as described by Avital Mansharov, representing these women on the edge. Avital, I love Avital. Avital is just amazing. You know, I read the diary of Avital, the Facebook, all the monologues of Avital, and also her new book. She gave me her new book, On the Edge. And they really live on the edge, and it's so fascinating to see, to really understand it. This edge is distant from tradition, yet doesn't entirely forsake it. They want to relinquish their belongingness to the community and feel a commitment to it, even they kick against its boundaries. I think that that's exactly what happens to them. Now, I must show you just the statue of liberated women here in the, can you show the status? The statue. No, more. Just the statue. Yes. This is the statue in Baku that represents the liberated new woman, which really symbolizes both Daniela and both Avital, beautiful and wonderful women who really want to be part of modernity, yet they hold modernity. This woman wants to take out her hijab, yes? It is an Iranian woman, an Azarian woman. She wants to take it out, yet she holds it. She doesn't throw it away. And this is exactly what's going on with both Avital and Daniela. And you know, Avital told me, I'm now a Bochter Chona. I understand that this is I'm a good girl. Good girl is Bochter Chona. I hope that I pronounce it good. But I'm not a Bochter Koche. And I have this juggling between the good girl and the bad girl. I don't want to be considered Bochter Koche. I want to be considered Bochter Chona. Yet I know that Bochter Koche allows me to break the limits and allows me to have some more opportunities. So I actually think that it is important, and this is the last word, it is important to note that these identity types are not strictly categorical. They exhibit intermediary variations and additional nuances that warrant exploration. Now, as you could see, I have three types: the chauvinist, the bargaining with patriarchy, and the challenging patriarchy. Now, the first and the third one are really very distinct and very, very clear. The one who is nuanced is the second one, bargaining with patriarchy. Most of the women with whom I talk and with whom I see belong to this bargaining with patriarchy, but this is a very nuanced, and we have many, 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 many options. Let me conclude with a personal note. I must tell you that those Caucasian women are strong women, and although they were for years excluded, they never gave up. I admire those women as they can set for us a wonderful example how to cope with hardships and never, ever give up. Thank you very much.
תודה לפרופסור